Call to order the Nevada Board of Cosmetology meeting on April 9th at 9 a.m. We will first start with roll call. Brian Baltazar, Vice President.
Vicki Negrete, Board Member.
Taylor Trouble-Plummer, Board Member.
Kai Stanton, Board Member.
Gary Landry, Executive Director.
Rosalie Bordello, Board Counsel.
Adam Higginbotham, Deputy Executive Director.
Andrew Helms, Chief Financial Officer.
Leah Easter, Compliance Coordinator. We also have David Scarpelli, Inspector here in Las Vegas, and I believe Charlene Marsh, Inspector up in the Reno area.
Monica Bradford, Administrative Specialist.
Ashish?
Should do the meeting minutes.
Oh,
We can move on.
And, sorry.
I know, yes.
Oh,
He'll announce himself.
all right. We will now be doing the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now for our mission statement. The mission of the Nevada Board of Cosmetology is to protect the public health, safety, and welfare through education and ensuring only qualified persons are granted licenses to perform cosmetology in the state of Nevada and that all areas where cosmetology services are provided are kept clean, sanitary, and safe. And I'd like to announce a board member that just entered. Go right ahead.
Debbie Ritchie, Secretary Treasurer.
All right, moving on to agenda item 4. The board will entertain comments from the general public for any item that is or is not on the published agenda and is related to the Nevada Board of Cosmetology. Please keep, comments should be limited to 3 minutes or less. No action can be taken on a matter unless it is included in the agenda in the future. Any comments down here in Southern Nevada?
Yes, hi. My name is...
Microphone.
Oh, what do I do? I'm sorry.
You're okay.
Sit down. Okay. Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Sharon Perkins, and I am a product of Expertise Beauty School. I was one of the first graduates there in our first graduating class, Ms. Gwen Cheney. I have now developed a 501(c), which is called The Village, which is to help save what we have left, which is for children. It is actually a music school that offers a lot of curriculums like crocheting to groom the children to become better to their self-esteem and things like that. So what it will do is, what I'm trying to do is set up a groom station. We will have different stations like arts and crafts and things. It will not be a school. I'm trying to incorporate where the students can actually come in and be able to do the children hair, the boys and the girls, and have an instructor there. And what it is like if we come in, if a student comes in and we see that they have the need of grooming, such as their clothes are not clean, their hair hasn't been kept up, I will be able to send them right to the center. And in other words, I will be able to also help students as far as get their kits and be able to pay for licenses, because when I was going to school, I was a mother of 5 at that time, and it was very hard for me to be able able to afford my kid to graduate just to go into the future and product when I did get out of school, but I will be able to help the students to accommodate these things that they're having challenges with, to be able to afford their kids and get products and things like that, and be able to pay for their licenses when they graduate.
Do any of the board members have any questions?
Yes, Debbie Ritchie.
This is public.
Are you,
We're in public comment. I just
oh,
want to
okay.
You can agendize this for a future. I mean, if you had just a very general, but it's pretty much where it could be something though that you can ask her to come back at a future time and you can put it on an agenda for the board to discuss.
So,
Taylor Trump McCormick, I do want to ask you a question.
Sorry. There's no discussion, it's just public comments, so we can give public comments.
What is
Yeah.
Debbie Ritchie, I'd like to make a motion to have it put on.
We can't even have really a motion or action, so you can simply request. You don't need a motion to just request something be put on a future agenda.
We have that at the end of the meeting.
Yeah, you could also add it at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
But you can have her be in contact with your executive director, whoever's putting together the agenda, and have that place for something future.
Thank you.
would you like to come back, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
I'm sorry, I have no clue, and I'm not going to pretend like I understand what's going on, because I clearly do not.
No, I just wanted to know if you wanted to come back or you were just stopping by to let us know. So I think, well, that's good.
Okay, so we'll be in communication with our director, so we can put this on a future agenda item, so that we can invite you back and formalize the process.
Thank you so much for hearing me out.
Are there any additional public comments down here in Southern Nevada?
Hello, everyone. My name is Carol
Just go
Westphal.
ahead, and if you could push the mic button and just state your name.
Carol Westphal.
Thank you.
I'm with G Skin and Beauty Institute in Henderson, Nevada. And I'm not sure if this is the time or the place for this, but you let me know. I understand that there's talk about changing the aesthetic program from 900 hours to 600 hours. Is this where we want to talk about something like this, or no? No.
This would, Gary Landry, Executive Director, this is not necessarily the place to talk about it. You can talk about it and give your opinion to the board, but we have a law subcommittee meeting tomorrow at the board office. That would be the more, that's where we can actually talk
Okay.
about the hours being reduced and all.
All right, fine. I'll talk tomorrow then. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's at our board office. It's not at the same location. It's at our board office.
Yeah, he said that. Okay, I'll just make note of that. It is going to be at the board office and not at this location. Are there any additional public comments in Northern Nevada? No? No additional comments at all? All right, so we are moving on to agenda item 5. Agenda item 5 will be to consider approval of the minutes from the January 8th, 2018 board meeting. Is there any discussion by board members on the minutes? Board?
What'd you say?
Is there any discussion regarding the,
Agenda? Yeah.
we're on agenda item 5, and we're just asking if there's any discussion about the minutes for the previous meeting on January 8th. No? Okay. Does any board member wish to propose a motion to accept the minutes?
Taylor Trump McCormick, I hereby make a motion to approve the minutes of the January 8th, 2018 board meeting.
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
A motion to accept the minutes on the January 8th, 2018 meeting has been moved And seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? All right, I will now call for a vote on the motion to approve the minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. The motion carries unanimously. All right, moving on to agenda item 6. This is a formal disciplinary hearing. NSBOC versus Lynn, I'm sorry if I butcher this, Gallagher, to determine whether grounds for discipline exist pursuant NRS 644-4301B1. The board will hear the case and rule on it. Is Ms. Gallagher here? Gallagher?
Gallagher is not here.
Oh, she's here.
She's here.
No.
No.
Oh, she's in Boston.
Yeah, she's down here in Southern Nevada. Sorry about that.
That's not legal.
Since the state must prove its case, Mr. Bala will open with discussion with the court reporter. Oh. Oh, it's not.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members. For the record, Ashish Bala, Deputy Attorney General for the state. Ms. Gallagher does not appear to be present either in the north or in the south. The individual who just appeared before you was a bit confused. So on that note, I would like to make proof of service as far as delivery of the notice and complaint and notice of the meeting. So I'd like to call Ms. Leah Easter. Thank you. Ms. Easter, could you please raise your right hand? Swear. Oh, I swear.
No, she can
Would you mind swearing her in, please?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you give here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Ms. Easter, did you provide a 233B letter to Ms. Lynn Gallagher, license number C-16121?
We did. It was sent out February 15th, 2018.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman and board members, based on the testimony from Ms. Easter, I would like to ask for a motion to prove that notice has been properly served for 233B.
Do we have any board members that would like to motion that proof that Ms. Gallagher has been served?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the proof before us that Ms. Gallagher has been properly served.
Do we have a second?
I second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, board members. At this time, I'd like to admit the exhibits that were filed along with the complaint. Ms. Bradford?
All of them?
Yes, please. Four. Mr. Chairman, board members, so I think everyone has the exhibits now. So based on those exhibits, I'd like to move that the board accept them into evidence. You don't need to.
Items, oh, I don't need to say anything.
You can just do that.
Okay. Exhibits A through D are accepted.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And now I will just proceed to read the factual allegations and the violations of law, and then I'll ask for a vote from the board on that. Respondent Lynn Gallagher, license C and number C, license number C-16121, was at relevant times mentioned in this complaint and notice of hearing, licensed by the board as a cosmetologist subject to the jurisdiction of the board and the provision of NRS Chapter 644 and NAC Chapter 644. On or about July 29, 2003, respondent received a cosmetologist license from the state of Nevada. In or before 2007, respondent received her first citation for practicing cosmetology with an expired license. On or about December 21st, 2015, respondent received her second citation in the amount of $500 for the practice of cosmetology with an expired license. On or about June 21st, 2016, respondent received her third citation in the amount of $1,000 for the practice of cosmetology with an expired license. On or about November 18, 2017, respondent was observed practicing cosmetology with an expired license. Violations of law. Respondent is subject to discipline pursuant to NRS 644, 4.430, subsection 1, subsection L, by failing to comply with the requirements of NRS 644.190. Second, respondent is subject to discipline pursuant to NRS 644.430, subsection 1, subsection 3, by misrepresenting her qualifications to the public in violation of NRS 644.478. Based on the facts and exhibits presented, I'd ask that the board find that the factual allegations have been proven and the violations of law have also been proven.
So just as a procedural matter, before the board does that, to make a clear record, it's easiest if you look at the factual allegations first, and you can find them. You don't have to go each one. You can find them. Somebody could make a block vote that all of the factual allegations have been found. Then look at the legal allegations, see if those have been found, and then you can move on to discipline. But for a clear record, it's easiest if you do it in those parts.
This is Kai Stanton. I'm glad you said that. I do have a concern because I did review this deeply yesterday, and so my concern was the first citation. I don't have any documentation regarding the first citation. I'm not sure if the inspector is present. That's amazing. I can ask the inspector at that time a few questions, but just the evidence to support allegations on the very last, that concerns me a little bit. Can we clarify that better? There's just no statement, and there's no hard copy, and there's nothing in the system, so it's hard for me to kind of...
So the first one was issued in around 2007, which is, I understand, at some point the system was changed from paper to digital. The actual individual who had written the citation was employed by the board up in the Reno office. In between this packet coming together and this meeting, she's no longer with the company in the Reno office, but she had personal knowledge of the citation. Miss Charlene Marsh is up there in Reno now. I don't know if she can shed more light on it. She might have some clarification that I'm missing. Charlene, I don't know if you can hear me if you're up there. Are you okay, Charlene? There you go.
If she's
Just
going to
slow.
do
Thank you.
have her sworn in as well.
Charlene, if we can have you state your name and then have you sworn in, please.
I'm Charlene Marsh.
And if you don't mind swearing her in for me, please.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you give here today be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I don't know if she can hear you. You might need to.
Would you raise your right hand to be sworn? Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you give here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Go on, Ms. Marsh.
I apologize, I don't have the information in front of me, but I do know that Lynn Gallagher had received several citations. I had talked to her about that. I think I had even issued one of those citations.
Thank you, Charlene. I 110% agree with the last three. I just wanted to clarify the first one. So as a decision is made, we can actually clarify on why and highlight the points. I'm very grateful that you did come and that you were able to explain the information that you have. And I think that's one of my concerns about the first one, because it states that the inspector was aware and that the inspector remembers, but there's no actual hard copy. So that's hard for me to make a decision according to 4 instead of 3. I'm okay with making the choice on 3 instead of 4 because of those facts. I don't have that evidence in front of me.
Well, the evidence you would have is on the second citation. It would admit that it's the second citation, because in those days we would document that on each one that it would be the first, second, third, and that's why we knew that this was the 4th citation.
Okay, that's perfect. That's what I needed to know. I needed to be able to confirm why those choices were made accordingly. So if that is confirmed and the cosmetologist does acknowledge that and receive this second citation with the understanding that she did receive the first one, that is a documentation that I can rely on. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Do we have any further discussion by any board members? So now we'd like to move forward with a motion to accept the factual allegations. Do I have a motion?
Taylor McCormick, I'd like to make a motion to accept the factual allegations. Do I need to say 1 through?
You can, or you can say accept all the factual
To
allegations.
accept all the factual allegations for this complaint.
Do we have a second?
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, board members.
The next step would be the violations, the alleged violations of law. Oh, I read them again, but you can, do you want to make another statement?
I can read them again. So the violations of law are: first, respondent subject to discipline pursuant to NRS 644.430, subsection 1, subpart L, by failing to comply with the requirements of NRS 644.190. Second, respondent subject to discipline pursuant to NRS 644.430, subpart 1, subpart G, by misrepresenting your qualifications to the public in violation of NRS 644.470.
Do we have a motion to find the violations proven? Board?
Taylor McCormick, I'd like to make a motion to find the violations proven.
Do we have a second?
This is Kai Stanton.
Vicki Negretti, I second the motion.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, board members. Moving on to the relief sought. Based on the allegations proven, the executive prays for the relief as following: that the board take action against the respondent's license pursuant to NRS 644 by suspending respondent's cosmetology license for 3 months. Pursuant to second, pursuant to NRS 644.430, subpart 2, subpart D, the board impose an administrative fine of $2,000 for each violation of NRS 644. 3, pursuant to NRS Chapter 622, the board imposes the cost of this proceeding upon the respondent, including investigative costs, attorney's fees, and if the board otherwise imposes discipline on the respondent. 4th, the executive director requests that the board take such disciplinary action as it deems appropriate and just under the circumstances.
So if it helps frame it, I don't know how familiar all the board is with some of this, but the prayer for relief isn't an all or nothing. The board, it's the recommendation by your staff, and you can take the recommendation as is, or the board can make a motion to discipline, issue different discipline. I think also in your complaint there, the discipline authorized is listed. That's what's authorized in your statute. Everything in the prayer for relief is authorized by your statute, so you can go with it. You can do less, more. It's board discretion.
Debbie Ritchie, I would like to make a motion to adhere to what the board is suggesting penalties be. We have to pay costs for fees for attorneys, and what they've suggested is fine by me. So the staff takes in consideration the monies that it's going to cost, and we have to really look at where we're getting our money, what avenue we're getting it from. And we have to start looking at that more closely and penalize the people who don't. Come on, this is kind of ridiculous. So I would say definitely I would uphold to what it's suggested.
Do we have a second to uphold the relief?
I second that motion. This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, board members. The next case.
Before you go on, I'd like to get just clarification on the timing of the payment, so that we know what do we, do we go 90 days, 60 days, whatever the time.
Sorry, yeah, the board should make a motion to impose the discipline and have the costs and the fines payable within either 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days of the date of the order.
So how that would look, Debbie Ritchie, how that would look is I would ask for 90 days.
Yeah, just a motion to impose the order within 90 days of the order.
Correct.
Do we have a second to impose the fines within 90 days? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second. Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, board members. Sorry, I'm just writing this down. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, board members. We can move on to the next agenda item, which is complaint hearing for the State Board of Cosmetology versus Michelle Nguyen, case number C-2016-0314. Is Ms. Nguyen present, either in the north or in the south? Good. You want to come up? Yeah. Sorry, are you her? Sorry. You can sit here though. Hey. Microphone? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ashish Bala for the Board of Cosmetology. This case was continued from it was found in default in the last hearing, but the respondent has requested to have a rehearing, and the Attorney General's office does not object to that. Therefore, since Ms. Nguyen here is present today, then we will proceed with the hearing and then provide Ms. Nguyen a chance to respond, and we can go from there.
Thank you. If we can have Ms. Nguyen sworn in, please.
Please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you solemnly swear, affirm, under the penalties of perjury, the testimony you give here today with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. And then, just for the record, I think it might be easiest, like, technically, I guess we have here a motion for a rehearing. It is unopposed. So, I think you can probably grant that on your own, but just to have that heard, I would say if you want to grant it, just say you're granting a motion for rehearing.
Okay, Brian Baltazar, I'm granting a motion for your rehearing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With that, I would like to move to have the exhibits admitted into evidence. Ms. Bradford, do you pass those out?
Yeah. Brian Baltazar, moving to accept the exhibits presented.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now I'll move to present the facts for the board, and then we can move to a facts discussion. All right. So, Respondent Michelle Nguyen, license number M-38591, was at all relevant times mentioned in this complaint and notice of hearing, licensed by the board as a NAO technologist subject to the jurisdiction of the board and provisions of NRS Chapter 644 and NAC Chapter 644. On or about December 30th, 2014, respondent received a NAO technologist license from the state of Nevada. On or about April 26, 2016, respondent applied for a cosmetologist license via reciprocity. Respondent stated on her application for a license with the board that she received a cosmetology license in Wisconsin in 2014, which was set to expire March 31st, 2017. Respondent provided a certification from the state of Wisconsin in support of her application. Respondent certification indicated that she was licensed in Wisconsin under license number 97480-82. When reviewing the documents provided by respondent, board staff attempted to verify respondent's licensure with the Wisconsin Cosmetology Board website. Board staff then contacted the state of Wisconsin by telephone. Board staff used identifying information such as a social security number and date of birth to verify that respondent did not hold any license with the state of Wisconsin, and she did not hold license number 97480-82. Board staff then compared the Wisconsin certification provided by respondent and noted that it was different than a Wisconsin certification that the board had previously verified as true and accurate. Respondent submitted a fraudulent certification to the board from Wisconsin. Respondent was not licensed by the state of Wisconsin as a barbering or cosmetology practitioner at the time she submitted her cosmetology license reciprocity application. Respondent submitted false information in her cosmetology license reciprocity application. On or about June 6, 2016, the board office received a North Carolina certification of licensure via U.S. mail. Board staff contacted the North Carolina Board of Cosmetic Art Examiners and learned that this certification from North Carolina was also fraudulent. The North Carolina Board of Cosmetic Art Examiners Executive Director stated that all license certifications are sent by email directly to a state board official. The North Carolina Board of Cosmetic Art Examiners indicated that any certifications purportedly sent by them through U.S. mail are fraudulent. On July 18, 2016 and July 21, 2016, board staff met with respondent in the office to discuss her application. Respondent admitted to board staff that the Wisconsin certification was fraudulent. Respondent caused 2 fraudulent certifications from other states to be sent to the board office in support of her cosmetology license reciprocity application. Respondent attempted to obtain licensure as a cosmetologist through fraudulent misrepresentation. Board staff believes that this conduct reflects respondent's lack of good moral character, which is required for licensure as a cosmetologist in Nevada, pursuant to NRS 644.200, subsection 2. On or about October 6, 2017, respondent was served with a complaint and notice of hearing, which subsequently continued her communication to the board in November 2017. This matter was found, the respondent was found in default at the last hearing, and we are here at a rehearing again today. So that's where we're at. I'm sorry, Ms. Easter, did you file this complaint, or was there?
The board filed the complaint, but it was in 2016 before I was here.
Okay, so at this time, the state rests this case, and Ms. Nguyen can call her any witnesses or present any defense.
Ms. Nguyen, you can go ahead and proceed and plead your case. Does she need her husband to translate? Mr. Nguyen, if you could come up. And if you could state your name and also have you sworn in.
You're going to be translating, right? Okay. So if you could state your name and be sworn in, take a seat, sir.
Go ahead and push the mic button right in front of you.
My name is Trey Black. I'm just speaking on behalf of my wife, Michelle Nguyen.
Thank you. And if we can have you sworn in now?
Raise your right hand.
Raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to translate to the best of your ability?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please proceed.
So she can present any defense that she has to the allegations that were presented right now. Sorry, you have to speak in the microphone and just speak that.
Okay, we used to work with, I'm not sure if the state board staff, his name is Dana and Elizabeth. We used to work with those two, but now we try to contact them regarding to the case, but we never got a hold of them again. We used to work with those two at the beginning, so we provided all the proof of evidence that we are victim of the fraudulent, and we were not able to get a hold of the person that do the license for us. It just disappeared, and we I don't know where to start, but this case is just like keep going on. You know, when Adam, I'm not sure if you ever heard of Adam. Oh,
I'm here.
You're here. Oh, okay.
Surprise.
Yeah. I didn't see you. You're always in the corner. So, well, you're still here. So, yeah, here we are again. You know, and like I said, you know, last time you asked me like if I get a hold of that person, whoever did the Cosmetology, the online license, we never get a hold of them again. We can.
Board members can ask questions, so it's up for
This is Kai Stanton. Thank you so much for coming. I do see that you do have a passion to want to be a part of this career, and we want those that want to be a part of this career. Our concern is we want to make sure that we are doing things honesty, and we want to make sure that everything that you have learned in school, including sanitation, that we are protecting the public, and that we are also protecting you as well. And so we want to help everyone as much as possible. Our concern as a board is the continual misleading. And so we want to not only get clarification on what's going on, but we need some solution. And I think that's what Adam was trying to present you several occasions, is a positive solution. And we are here today because that solution has not been met and all the information is not accurate, including the state that received the license, that you received the license from. So the board is not prosecuting you at all for wanting to be a part of the industry. What we are concerned about is the law that is continually being broken and not being upheld. And because of that, that's why you're sitting here today. There is no other or new information given to us to change our minds in a different direction, and that's kind of what we were hoping to see today. What's going on? How can we make a decision that will help future, just not you, but everyone to understand that this is very serious. And us as a board is taking the misleading, the false documentation very seriously. Okay, so that's why we're here. And if you have anything to show us, maybe the school's no longer in school, process, or maybe there was a misunderstanding of paperwork, but from what we're seeing, there isn't any new evidence. Everything pretty much stands.
Yeah, like I said, I met that person, at the party, one of my friend's party, and she came up to me and introduced, herself to me that because she said she heard that we need to. She need to get she's interested in getting a cosmetology license. So, and then that woman came up to me and said, so she can do it online. She can help me with that. And it's going to cost me cost her like $1,000 to get that license. And she said she have people that can do it online for us. And after I paid her, and then she texted me the license number. She said, now it's done. Just go to the state and apply for the cosmetology license. She never actually gave us any license at all. She just gave me the information. And then after that, after she took the money, she's gone, disappeared.
Did you contact the State Board of Cosmetology to receive your, and I say this all the time, we all need to have a State Board of Cosmetology book. When you're receiving your license and you're receiving anything that's saying that you're in full agreement with this law.
So when we're coming or we're opening up a business or we're coming to the State Board of Law, when you have signed and said, I receive this, what you're saying is, I take full accountability for everything in this book, and without this book, you are dead in the water in the industry. You have to have the laws and rules and regulations. So unfortunately, it sounds like there was a misconnect somewhere, but education is a must. That's also in this book. The hours required is also a must in this book, okay?
Debbie Ritchie, I would like to ask you, are you a manicurist? Do you do nails? Yes, you.
No, I'm not.
You're not. You don't do anything with the cosmetology board.
No.
And you're just here talking for your wife. She's your wife, correct?
Yes.
Does she speak any English at all?
Very limited.
Which salon was she sited in? Where was this location at?
I'm sorry?
Where was she working when she was cited? When we were found out that she was working illegally? Where was this business at? Where was she actually doing the work?
Nails Lounge.
What?
Nails Lounge.
Where's Nails Lounge? Which street?
On Decatur.
Decatur?
Yes.
And the 24-hour one? Decatur and Tropicana?
Decatur and Lake Mead.
Lake Mead.
Yes.
Okay. So to me, this is black and white. I mean, you're trying to pin somebody else for neglect here that you obviously did. How long did she have her license in Wisconsin? Was it Wisconsin? Or was it?
She never got it.
She never got it, but she applied here, but she was working illegally.
No. That. She has the now.
Wait, she's understanding what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
oh, okay.
She has a manicurist license. What she got cited for is the cosmetology.
Right, I understand that. But where she was working with a license to do nails, correct? On Decatur.
Yes.
And Lake Mead.
Yes.
Okay, so I have no remorse for this whatsoever. I ask that we make a motion if the board agrees to cite all three respondents, NRS 644200, NRS 644210, and NRS 644310, all sites for a total of $3,000.
If we can have further discussion before we move on to the motion.
I'm just saying because it's gonna, we have all our evidence in front of us as the board can see what clearly happened, and you have to be held to, we're here to protect the public, but we're also here to, if everybody did this, we would have a lot of revenue on just trying to clean up things, and this is unacceptable for me anymore. I mean, I don't know about our board, but really look at this and let's move forward, because you are capable and responsible when you had your nail license, correct? You know the laws for nails. Is that true?
Yeah.
And I think you do understand me.
Yes, she does, a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So I just ask that, let's let the board have some conversation of what they think as well.
Board Member Taylor-Trell.
Hi there. I just wanted to clarify a few things from your statement. So let me understand. You gave someone $1,000,
Yes.
and they said that they would take the exam for you online.
Yes.
And so they were supposed to take an exam for you online and then hand you the license. They
No.
gave you the license, but you never got it.
That person, after
But that was supposed to be the outcome, right? That was the outcome? You
Yes,
gave them the
yes,
license. So why did you guys knew better than that, though, that you have to go to school and get hours
Right.
and take the exam on your own. And so right there, you guys knew you were breaking the law. You were trying to circumvent the process, which, case in point, means that you were trying to go about this in an underhanded way. So for me, that's kind of the end of it. You never got a license for something that you were doing illegally, and you got caught. And so my hope is that you'll accept responsibility, and there's no more wasting resources for us to investigate something that you knew that you were wrong. And so that's why I have the problem. Why have us open an investigation when you knew you tried to obtain this illegally? So I agree with Debbie Ritchie that this will need to stand. what you did was not moral and it was not ethical. And so I'm just hoping that you'll accept responsibility for this and go about getting your license the proper way. Okay?
Okay.
So just, the board can discuss more if they'd like, but for purposes of the record, when you come to actually doing motions, I'd like you to go, it's best if you go the same way you did with the last one, look at the factual allegations in the complaint, see if they're found, then the legal allegations or violations, and then look at discipline.
Okay, so Debbie Ritchie, so that would be, I would say I make a motion for the first complaint, is this correct?
To find factual allegations.
And I would say NRS 644-200, would this be correct?
We're doing the factual allegations first. Just look to, I don't have a copy of the complaint, but I'm not sure how many.
So it's 1 through 24?
There you go.
1 through 24?
Sorry.
Yeah, use your motion.
I'd like to make a motion 1 through 24.
Have been
correct?
proven. Right, your motion is that they've been proven?
Yes, they've been proven.
Do we have a second for that motion?
Adrian Grady, I second that motion.
We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Oh, sorry.
Aye as well. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Given that the board has found the facts 1 through 24 as proven, I'll move on to the violations. There are 3 violations of law. Respondent violated NRS 644.200 subsection 2 by providing false information to the board in support of her cosmetology license application and by causing 2 fraudulent certifications of licensure to be sent to the board office from other states in support of her application, which reflects respondent's lack of good moral character, which is grounds for disciplinary action pursuant to NRS 644.430 subsection 1 subsection A and NAC 644.711 subsection H. Second, respondent violated NRS 644.210 and NAC 644.711 subsection C by misrepresenting her qualifications for examination to the board because respondent falsely stated that she held certifications from Wisconsin and North Carolina in her application or licensure by reciprocity under NRS 644, which is grounds for disciplinary action pursuant to NRS 644.430 subsection 1 subsection A and NAC 644.711 subsection H. Third, respondent violated NRS 644.310 and NAC 644.711H by providing false information to the board because respondent does not hold the required license, permit, certificate, or registration, or has not been given the required authorization per NRS 644.310 to obtain licensure by reciprocity. Respondent provided false information on her application for licensure that stated she is licensed in Wisconsin or North Carolina. This is grounds for disciplinary action pursuant to NRS 644.430 subsection 1 subsection M and NAC 644.711 subsection H. As such, I ask that the board find that the respondent has been found in violation of all 3 counts. Thank you.
Brian Baltazar, do we have a motion to find the 3 violations proven?
I have a motion, Debbie Ritchie. Is this how I would begin it, with violation and what the
You don't have to reread them. You can simply find, your motion can be that all 3 have been proven.
I'd like to make a motion that all 3 have been proven.
Do we have a second?
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, board members. Moving on to the disciplinary stage, given that the facts have been proven and the violations of law have also been proven, the discipline authorized here and requested by the board is $1,000 for each violation, and additionally, the board is authorized to impose the costs, which are additional given that this matter was reheard by the board, and any other discipline the board sees fit.
Debbie Ritchie, I'd like to make a motion for the disciplinary action to be set forth for each. Do I say the NRS on each, or just say 1 through 3?
You can, if you're wanting to make the motion to be exactly the same as the recommendations, then you can simply refer to.
I'd like to refer to 1 through 3 being the disciplinary action for the violations set forth at 644.711 be a total of $3,000. Payable in 30 days. Or do we have to make another motion for the time?
Just one motion is needed, but I think some board members would like to have a discussion about the date after which the order is imposed, by which the fine needs to be paid.
I just want to make it clear that we have spent a lot of money and time on this, and time is money, that it's cost all of us to be here today for something that I feel, I think this is very lenient in my terms, so. Board members?
This is Kai Stanton. I believe the fine should stand. I would like to further commend you for coming, because at the end of the day, we are here to serve the community. And I'm happy that you are here so that we can talk to you and hear what's going on as well. So, however, I do believe the fine should stand. I do believe that we should, because she came here today, 90 days, I think is good. I would really like to highlight the areas as far as her coming here. We have all the information. We know what the facts are. At the end of the day, I will come to every meeting to support the community. I have no problems with that, and I am very happy you're here, and I know that you're going to take care of things accordingly, and it will be okay.
Yes, Debbie Ritchie, I'm happy she's here too. However, last meeting she did not show up. Adam? Last meeting you did not show up, and I think that this is very serious to me. I mean, at what point do we say enough's enough?
I think we're saying that with the 90 days and the $3,000 fine.
One at a time.
One at a time.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Kai Stanton. I believe the 90 days is a time period frame that we're giving and not leniency on the fines.
Board member Debbie Ritchie, would you like to amend your motion?
I'd like to make a motion just because our board members, as we work together as a team, maybe we can meet in the middle. Does that sound fair?
You can keep discussing a little. It sounds like she's wanting to change.
Yeah, I
to
just
change the motion.
So can we just have
I just think it's
for the
very.
record, maybe are you withdrawing the prior motion because we'll restate a different motion, maybe, and then we can.
At this point, I'd like to make it stand for 30 days doing payable.
Okay. I don't know that we have a second on that one.
Do we have a second on that motion?
I just wanted to make sure that that motion included the cost of the administrative cost, because I didn't hear that
So if
in
we
the
could-
motion. And so not just this time, but the previous time. And otherwise, I would second the motion for 30 days plus administrative cost on both incidents. That was omitted from the last motion.
So Debbie, if we could have you amend to include the costs.
I'd like to amend the motion, violate NRS 644-200, NRS 644-210, and NRS 644-310 to amend to a total of $1,000 per fine, total of $3,000 plus administration fees.
And if you could restate the time as well. 30 days from...
30 days.
Payable within 30 days.
Payable within 30 days.
Tia Latrobe McCormick, I second that motion.
We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Motion carries. Thank you for your time, Mr. New.
Thank you.
Oh, I was just gonna clarify about the last hearing, because we did not receive any hearing notice for the last hearing. That's why we didn't show up, because the person who sent it, she sent it to the wrong address without apartment number. We never received it, and until somebody brought the paper to my door personally.
I do apologize that you did not receive that notice in a timely manner, but the violations still exist whether or not you received the notice in a timely manner. So that's why we've decided the way we have. So at this point, we've finished with your case. All right.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just so the board is aware, the next cases are all petitions to appear, so they're citation appeals. The state has no case to present. They're simply first-level citations that people would like to bring before the board for some potential modification. So this is to proceed at your pleasure, sir.
All right, moving on to agenda item 8, David Nguyen, owner of Nails and Spa, is appealing citation 6951 issued on the 13th of February 2018 during a routine inspection by Inspector David Scarpahelli for allowing an unlicensed individual to perform services. Citation 6951 is for violation of NRS 644-3602. Mr. Bala, I guess you present the case.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, so at this time the state has no case to present. It's not being prosecuted by the state, but the respondent did receive a first citation in which they'd like to bring before the board on appeal to ask for some sort of modification. So this gentleman would like to make a statement, and the board can decide on whether to uphold, to modify, or to overturn the citation that was issued.
Okay, sir, if you could state your name and raise your right hand for swearing in.
I'm Al Cottagio, and I'm here representing David Nguyen. I'm not a lawyer, I'm just a family friend trying to help out.
If we could have him sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you give here today, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. His violation was for having an unlicensed manicurist, who I did bring with us. She was licensed in another state. She received her license the day after she got the citation. This was not an isolated incident. She did perform some procedures in the month that she was there. She was mainly there to clean, but when they got very, very busy, she did help out. We're not denying the allegations. It's just a first-time offense for Mr. Nguyen. And Mrs. Nguyen, back here also, who I brought with me, was the one who was performing the work. We're just looking for leniency. It's a $1,000 fine. Like I said, he's not denying the allegations. It's his first time with anything ever happening in his salon. He wasn't there at the time. She was new here from Texas. The only person she knew in town was her boyfriend who was living there. She was mainly there cleaning and doing janitorial type duties, cleaning the windows, unless it got to be a mess in there. And there's a sense of urgency in these places. I have run them before, and she did help out. We're not denying that. We're just looking for a reduction in fine in layman's terms.
And so she is the one that was performing the services?
Yes, and she is fascinated by this whole deal, as I am daunted.
Right.
But she probably can't understand much of what you're saying. Her name is Nak Nguyen. If you'd like to speak to her, you can certainly bring her up.
I mean, if she'd like to come up to the podium to speak, is that permissible? Is she able to communicate at all?
I understand her, and you guys probably...
Are you able to translate?
No.
No, okay, never mind. I mean, it's not necessary.
Okay, but she came here and she is fascinated by all.
I'd just like to remind the board this is a petition appeal on behalf of the establishment and the owner, not necessarily the licensee.
This is Kai Stanton. Thank you for coming. However, I would have loved to speak with the owner. Are you aware of the 2 prior violations for sanitation?
I am not.
Right, I know. And then
The wiring thing, I'm aware of that because I'm the one actually who repaired it.
Also, do you have a law book?
I do not. No, I'm not. I'm just a friend of the family. I'm not in the business, and I've just been around them for years, and I know what goes on in there. And based on what I've heard on the previous folks that have come up here, I'm just looking for a reduction in time.
Well, thank you for coming. Unfortunately, without having further information, to be honest with you, the violations that we see here are very serious, as was stated prior, and we do want to make sure that we're protecting the community as well as the salon, and that's why we have rules and regulations in place. However, I do want to strongly recommend that law books are purchased so that all regulations are followed accordingly. When we have someone working on clients and you think of someone very close to you and you're trusting the operator behind you and you find out there is no license and something happens, a cut or an infection. MRSA ran pretty strong in certain areas. So we want to make sure that those protection is placed there. So it's very important that we follow those guidelines. That's why you're seeing probably not so sure about the deductions, because it's very important that we follow those rules and regulations.
Hi, Debbie Ritchie. How are you today?
Nervous.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming for her. That's very nice of you. So the owner of the salon, they're not here?
They're not here.
They're not here. So do they have a manager of the salon? Is there a manager or anybody that watches over overseas?
There is per
Kind of,
se,
sort
but
of?
not, there's really
Is it a
nobody doing-
commission or a rental salon? Does she pay
Commission.
rent or does she
Commission.
work
Oh, no,
for
she owns it.
One at a time.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry, what was your question?
Does she work for this gentleman or ma'am, or does she rent space? Does she give
She
weekly?
works for him.
Okay, so he needs to be upheld to the fine. I mean, I have 1,500 contractors, and I'm very responsible and capable. Can't be there all the time.
I understand.
If there's no manager, he needs to pay the fine.
Okay.
Taylor Sean McCormick, and I echo everyone's sentiments here. Thanks for coming. But I think what's important is that by your own omission, you guys knew that you were breaking the law. And so I will find, in my opinion, that the penalty stands, because that is the penalty for breaking the law. But again, thank you for coming.
Okay, and what will they do? Notify us with a letter to pay, or how's that work?
I think we need a motion, fine. I mean, we've heard some of the board members' positions, but I think if somebody can make a motion and go that way before.
I would like to make a motion, Debbie Ritchie, to uphold NRS
Citation.
citation? Uphold the citation.
Taylor Sean McCormick, I second that.
We have a motion on the, actually, do we need to have a time frame, or is the time frame already clear? Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries.
He'd already received the citation, so they're not going to send anything else out.
Sorry, my apologies. You've already received the citation, so there won't be anything else in the mail, so you just have to pick it up.
Right now?
No.
Where do I pay? I brought the check with me, so...
You can get in contact with our staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their heads up. Okay. Anyway, thank you guys. You're really kind.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next case is also a petition to appear, a citation appeal. Is Alda Rodriguez present?
Alda Rodriguez, is she in the north?
She is not here.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Who's that that says she's not here?
Charlene Marsh?
Yes.
Oh, we were just confirming who was up north speaking. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So because it's on the agenda and you've had the petition, even if we have a no-show, I think it would be helpful if you still make a motion or make a finding on whether or not to uphold the citation. You are.
Do we have a motion to uphold the findings and citation?
Yes. Debbie Ritchie, upholding the citation.
Do we have a second?
I second the motion to uphold the citation.
We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries.
thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members. The next case, item 10 on the agenda, is also a petition to appear, citation appeal from Mr. David Gonzalez, license H-427. Is Mr. Gonzalez present in the north and the south?
Charlene Marsh here, and no, he's not here.
All right. Do we have a motion to uphold the citation and findings?
Taylor Trauma Comic, I make a motion to uphold the citation and findings.
Do we have a second?
Debbie Ritchie, upholding the second.
We have the motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 11 on the agenda, the respondent requested to have a continuance, so it asked that the chair just make a determination to table this until the next hearing.
I'm Brian Baltazar. I move to table this until our next board meeting.
Debbie Ritchie, guys, give me a motion.
Oh,
Is that a motion?
You know,
It doesn't-
unilateral decision, I guess.
Yeah.
It's your discretion, you can table it.
So yes, I'd like to table this for the next meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We can move on to item number 12 on the agenda. This is a petition to appear, not a citation, appeal from Felicia Gomez, license M-15688, requesting board consideration to waive penalty fees. Felicia Gomez?
Ms. Gomez, if you could state your name and raise your right hand for swearing in.
Felicia Gomez.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you give here today with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes.
Please proceed.
So I'm requesting my fees for my license be waived. And I don't want to get emotional, but I probably will. I was in the hospital for 33 days, starting with June 2nd. My license was supposed to be renewed July 21st, and this was last year. And I'm still unable to work. And that's pretty much it. I want to continue when I'm well enough. I'm not sure when that will be.
And I do apologize for any hardships that you're going through. Just want to make sure, so you haven't provided any services or practiced any services since June 2nd, it sounds like?
Actually, I was sick starting the end of May, and I was admitted to hospital in June 6th.
And so
I
you...
haven't practiced since May.
Okay. Do any of our board members have any questions?
Yes, I have a question. Were you able to, do you have all the documentations to renew? Do you have everything you need to be able to renew that not about the late fees, just your basics, like the photo, things like that, the fee to renew, you have that, all that, is that okay?
Well, that's my problem, is I haven't pursued anything. I mean, as far as the photo, whatever, that's not an issue to get that. I don't have any income at all. And so the only thing I would have to do is take my online, I'm sorry, the infectious disease, yeah. And that would be all that I would have to do. But because I didn't do that in July, every month, you know, yes. So it's already been since July.
Well, I'm happy you're here. Thank you so much. With the, if significantly it was reduced today, you would purchase a law book as well. Do you have a law book?
I do, and I got 100% when I
love it.
retook my test to transfer from New Mexico to Nevada. I do have a pile of paperwork showing, hospital records if you need to see.
I'd like to make a motion. No. We can't do that yet? Okay.
Thank you for coming, and I'm very sorry that this has happened to you. I'm trying to figure out what timeline we're really on. So with no income, when would you be able to actually go take that exam if we did, you're asking for us to reduce the fines.
Yes, ma'am.
But if it continues to accrue because you can't make the payments, then it's going to continue to accrue and you might be before us again.
Okay,
So-
I just want to clarify what payments. So from this point, I have to pay, I think it is for the infectious disease that I would do online, correct?
I think that's a better choice to
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so I would have to do that, and then...
But you don't have to pay for that. I believe that's free.
Okay.
You have to pay to renew your license.
Which
and then-
is the $70, correct?
Correct.
And then what I'm asking is from that point, the late fees, since I haven't been able to work, from that point on, I'm asking for consideration that those be waived.
And I understand that. I'm asking, what is that point? When do you plan to do this? So if we waive the
As
fees
soon
to
as
this,
possible.
so you have the money to renew now. If we were to
The
start you at
$70?
zero, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Brian Baltazar, so I just was reminded by our executive director that we actually cannot waive the fees by law. So please bear that in mind.
Mr. Landry, are we able to, there's no way to stop payments from, accruing, or it's just how it goes?
Yeah, the law states it's $20 a month for every month that you're late, and it's a law, it's not a regulation.
Yeah.
So that is set. There's no reduction in that.
Unfortunately.
There could be a payment plan possibly worked out,
Okay.
but that's the only thing that you can do. The bills are still due when you go to renew.
So the best we can do then is discuss a payment plan.
Debbie Ritchie, I would like to say that you haven't worked since June the 2nd, correct, honey?
Since
June 2nd?
I'm not sure exactly when the date was. It may have been very close to that, though.
Yeah.
Because, it
So
was-
then I'm just trying to accumulate in my mind how much fees we're talking. So if that's from June, is this correct?
Well, no, I'm
Monica?
sorry.
What, Monica?
The screenshot that you have in your board packet that shows what it's up to.
I see. So it looks to me like you have about close to $400. Does that look about right, Monica? $250. Okay. Okay, so you want to get back to work, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I'm not able right now.
Okay. But when you are able to, you would just have to pay $70 and it would reinstate. Is this correct, Monica? Okay, so if we did that and then we gave you... Yes.
Unfortunately, in order to renew a license, when the license renewal date comes up, they do need to be paid in full as far as the fees are concerned too.
We can't make Gary, is there any way that we can help her to get back on her feet and have her we can come to an agreement as a board of how long of a term she could take to pay off the fees, and she could get working when she's able and healthy enough to?
The only thing you can do is work on a payment plan, but just know that until it's paid up, it still keeps accumulating. So it'll be $20. Even as she's paying, there's another $20 fine that keeps on accumulating every month.
So do you have your documentations of medical reasons why?
Why I can't work currently?
Yeah, why you cannot work?
I can't work because, as far as all of my doctor's notes, whatever, I would have to request from each doctor.
Oh, okay.
I see many different doctors. I have the initial hospital records just showing why I couldn't get to it. I was released on August 15th, so I was actually in the hospital during that time, and when I got out, it was not something,
Right. Well, you're here today, and that's important, and you're moving forward in your life, and you want to get healthy again and be able to work. So I think as a board, we can try to come up with some solution for Mrs. Gomez. Board members, any input?
I agree. I strongly believe that you can try to work something. I would love to hear some suggestions accordingly so that we can help Ms. Gomez. Because keeping in mind, she is not working illegally. She came to us for help. She's making an effort to move forward in her career, and we do want to acknowledge that. We do have a strong obligation to uphold the law, and we want to make sure that we can get you back to work accordingly. So we're going to do our best today, okay? I have done nails for 25 years. I love what I do. So, I would just hate to lose that,
Ryan Baltazar, and we absolutely want to help out, within the parameters of what we are legally allowed to do. So I would actually like to defer to maybe a suggestion by Mr. Landry. From my understanding, the fees will continue to accumulate. She still will not be able to practice until she pays the full balance of what is owed. So really, what can we do?
That's part of the difficulty of the law is that the $20 fine when you let it get away too long. If it had been taken care of in August, it would not be a problem now. But now that it's up to $250, it becomes a problem. There's very little that the board can do to resolve that because it is in the law. It's prescribed by the law, and it is set in the law at $20 a month. That's the only. There's nothing I can think of that you can do other than to get her on a payment plan where she can start paying that down. But until it's paid off, she can't practice.
So, Debbie Ritchie, so if she's paid today in full, she doesn't have any more accumulation of fees, and she can come and get her license when she's capable and ready to work? Is this what I'm understanding?
Yes, pay the $250, and then she can take the test, not take the test, do her infection control test, and get her license. That's the only remedy that you have as a board, because it is the law. If it were regulation, you'd have a lot of latitude on reducing it, making it zero. But if it's part of the law, you have no right to change the law.
Jay Latrell McCormick, I would like to make a motion to uphold the fees.
We have a second? Do we have a second for that motion?
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
All right, we have a motion. We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. I believe, Board Member Ritchie, did you have anything to add, or?
Well, just if she's paid today, then Debbie Ritchie, if she's paid today, then she gets to come back when she's capable and ready, correct?
Correct.
So her bill will be paid today before she leaves the building.
Renee.
I'm not going to be able to pay the 250.
Our board member has generously, it sounds like, but not misspeaking, is going to pay that for you.
Just get healthy. Just take care of yourself.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate you.
You know, it's things like this that matter. So, thank you.
Absolutely.
After the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members. The next item on the agenda is number 13, petition to appear by Odessia Bailey, C-39264, requesting the board reconsideration to waive penalty fees.
Please state your name and raise your right hand and be sworn in.
Odessa Bailey.
Do you solemnly swear affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you give here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you. Please proceed, Ms. Bailey.
I'm here to ask for leniency. I too have great hardship within the last 2 years. I have been a licensed cosmetology for Great Bio in California, and I came here to transfer. I took a long while, but I wanted to get back into the field. Once I got my license, looking for a salon, found a salon, but I was there for maybe 2 weeks, and they were going through management issues, and they ended up closing the salon. Well, after that, a year later, I had back surgery. So I was under doctor's care for a great while, and still under doctor's care because they initially screwed up the surgery. So my father had a major stroke, so I was kind of taking care of him. And with him being ill, my mom went into a diabetic coma, so it was just a lot. And I was under pressure, and I did lose track of my expiration date on my license. So my fees have occurred since 2016. I was supposed to renew my license, and that's when my father had his stroke, and I kind of lost it and lost track of time. And I'm just here asking for leniency on just trying to get back in. I do what I love it. That's what I do. That's what I love. And I have not been working because I was under the doctor's care, but I'm almost there. But I understand that I cannot operate until these fees are paid. And I'm just asking for some type of help to get back into hair care.
Debbie Ritchie, as I read this and I'm hearing you loud and clear, life happens. But if we sometimes we have to look at because we've already talked about we have to withhold the loss, so you have to pay those fees. However, we can ask the board on the timing of it and maybe come up with that. But you're going to have to pay your fees. But thank God you're healthy enough to pay them.
I was listening, and you guys are saying a payment plan.
Yeah.
If I'm able to just
So we could set up a payment plan so we can get you paid and you can get back to work. And maybe at that time it would be better for you too, timing wise.
With any payment plan, just remember the $20 late fee continues to accumulate. So you're going to have a payment plan that will be greater than $20 a month, much greater, to get caught up with what your late fees are. Right now, they're sitting at $270. If you could get that paid off in 2 months or 3 months, then you'd be ready to go back to work. Unfortunately, until those are paid off, the law, it's just the laws we have to follow. It's not our say so.
Debbie Ritchie, can we make a motion, or do we have to state the Brian?
Do we have any further discussion by any of the other board members? No? Okay. Would we?
I would like to make a motion.
Yeah, I was going to say you can motion to direct staff to do a payment plan.
I would like to make a motion to do a payment plan on NRS 644325, total of 90 days due and payable.
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you for coming.
You can get in touch with the board office and speak to either Andrew, our CFO, to set up a payment plan, or someone in the office will get with you and work out something so that you can make payments. Unfortunately, it's just the law. It's what we have to follow.
I'll do that immediately. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, board members. The next agenda item is number 14, a petition to appear by Paige Lovering.
Ms. Lovering called me and withdrew the petition.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Ms. Bradford. So with that, if you'd like to, we can just move on over this item. So, yes. Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Then we can move on to agenda item number 15. It is a petition to appear from Latoya Littles, license H-254. Is Ms. Littles in the north or here in the south? Mr. Chairman, it does not appear that Ms. Littles is here, so I request that the board move past this item and move to item 16.
I would probably take a motion and vote on this so that we can have it resolved, and unless she re-petitions, she doesn't come back to the board again.
Do we have a motion to dismiss the petition?
Debbie Ritchie, a motion to dismiss the petition.
Do we have a second?
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, board members. The next item is agenda item 16, a petition to appear by Saba Fesai, requesting consideration from the board to allow her to receive a hair braider license without testing.
If we can have you state your name, and also if you could raise your right hand and to be sworn in.
My name is Saba Fasai.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you give here today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you. Please proceed.
Okay, thank you for you guys giving me this chance to talk. I came today, I just moved to Nevada. Sorry guys. I just moved to Nevada in September. I had a shop in San Diego for 7 years. I work as a braider for long time. I can say from when I was 11 years old. So I've been with this work more than 30 years. I don't know why I closed my shop from San Diego. When I moved here, I never even think you guys ask license for braiding. It's kind of weird for me because this is my passion, and I grew up with braiding. I don't fit to do a test because I have my work on my phone, all kind of work, on magazines, and I've been back and forth with Miss Monica in the office. I try my best to talk, to explain people, especially I've been here 25 years in USA. I grew up with braiding. Even my parents, they were not happy when I was doing braiding. I got a lot of punishment. Why? Because of I'm touching somebody here. This is what I grew up, but still this is my passion. I was trying to show my family, because that's my passion. I love to do that, and I grew up with braiding almost more than 30 years. But I've been working as a profession more than 25 years. I got 2 kids. I was a housewife 25 years ago. I can't do nothing with the kids, but this is my passion. I have this talent. I just think for a minute, and I decide to work at home. When I take care of my kids, I don't need to independent, and I don't need to use government money. I just work hard with braiding. Now I feel like I'm a new starter to do a test. No, I grew up with this braiding, and I never been in government help because of I have this talent, and I love this job. Now if you guys ask me what I'm doing, I never expect this much time it takes for me. But what I was thinking when I moved here, I raised my kids. They grew up, they graduated from university, both of them. Then I moved here because California is very expensive. I couldn't save anything. I work hard for myself or my kids. I'm happy, they start their own life, my kids. They graduate from, my daughter, she graduated from UC Davis. She's doing her master, and my son, he graduated from San Diego State University. So I'm happy why I moved here, just to make relax and to work. I thought it's easy, but when I see everybody ask to have license for braiding who's teaching me to do a test. I mean, I grew up with this. I don't feel to do a test, to be honest, but I'm very happy you guys gave to me this chance to talk to you. But honestly, I don't feel to do a test, because if you guys want to see my work on my phone, if you guys see all my works in magazine, I did I'm Cosmetology certified because I went school for Cosmetology 99. I graduated 2000. But by choice, I don't need to do chemical stuff because I love braiding. I'm crazy with that. I love to do designs with braiding stuff. So I got 2 trophies by braiding design when I was in school. So I don't know what you guys think, but I just want to get, I don't know how I'm going to start my work, but I really love to do hair. Now, if you guys ask me what I'm doing, because I can live, I just start taxi driving. It wasn't my dream.
Debbie Ritchie, Saba, did I pronounce your name right?
Yes.
My heart is with you. I totally understand what you're saying, but in the state of Nevada, did you look at the laws before you moved here? You didn't? You just...
I never thought, because even San Diego, probably every state is different.
But you got to understand that. I'm speaking for myself. Not as a board member. I just want to say, my heart is with you. I get what you're saying. You're braiding the hair, but we have different regulations in different states. In the state of Nevada, it requires you to have a braider license, and there's very few braiders. And I bet you are a great braider. I mean, I want you to braid my hair, probably. But in the same token, the laws have already been made. So that being said, none of us as a board could even, we would have to, it's almost like impossible unless you petitioned, and right, Gary? So, but my heart goes out to you, and I commend you for showing up and stating what you feel, what you stand for. That is so solid, that is so American. I wish you all the best. But understand that we can't, as a board, we can't overturn this. You know what I mean? You would have to come back or Gary, what would she go the next step if she wants to make a stand to have something changed?
No, I can understand cosmetology. I went to school.
No, I understand, but in the state of Nevada, we can't, and it's not me, it's the law. I'm just speaking for the law.
I understand.
And Gary's going to tell you what you would have to do, the next step, if you'd like to do something. Make a voice of it, and Gary can tell you what to do next. Okay?
The laws in the state of Nevada are that if you've practiced braiding for a year, 1 year, and you've practiced much more than that, if you practice more than for a year on a near relative, someone who's related to you, and they'll sign an affidavit, you sign an affidavit, bring that to us, then we can have you set up for testing. The only problem is anyone, whether they've gone to school or whether they've been doing it as a practice, as part of their culture, no matter what your background, you have to test. That's the laws in the state of Nevada. There's testing required to be able to get in. It's not a difficult test, but you are required to test.
So Debbie Ritchie, so once again, following up with what Gary said, if you have been practicing at home for a year and you have somebody that can testify to that and certify a certificate to send to the office, then you can test. That's the only option at this point.
Even now, without that, I can do test. I mean, what I'm talking now, I set up appointment. They can set up appointment. They can give me a test.
Yeah, right. but understand the law, and in the state of Nevada, you cannot do braiding at home, in an office, anywhere. I'm just letting you know because you're here today and you're creating a voice for the braiders, and Gary is telling you what you can do now at this point. So when you leave here, you know what to do. Do you understand what to do now?
Yes. I understand, but what I'm saying, why I need practice it with someone?
Because it's the law. It's been written in the book, and we can't change. We cannot change the law. So we're just trying to make it, instead of getting all complicated and tearing it all apart. There's nothing as a board that we can do to help you at this point. You cannot practice in the state of Nevada, but we are telling you what you can do. What you can do. You can do big things. You know what I'm saying?
Gary, the executive director, I just wanted you to know you don't have to do any more braiding than you've already done.
Right.
You've got the practice.
Right. You don't have to go back.
You just need to document it and give it to us to take the test. You don't need to do anything else other than document what you've done, submit it to us that shows you have a year's worth of experience. You have way more than that, and that you would like to test as a braider. That's it. But you will have to test. There's nothing.
What kind of practice do you guys ask?
Braiding, just braiding. You've braided.
I already.
Yeah, you won't have to braid. You won't have to. You just have to take a test.
Right, and it's a written and a practical test. You'll take a written test, then you take a practical test where you braid and show the braids, and that's it.
I understand. I don't mean to argue with you guys, but what I'm saying, I know there is written test. It's kind of for braiding, written test. They asked me to order from online to order books, to pay something for work, and nobody teach me. This is what
I know.
I'm really surprised.
Saba, I understand what you're saying, but we all understand what you're saying, but we can't change the law. That's the only thing.
I know this
Wish
is
we
the
could
law. I
help you.
understand. That's why I'm here.
I
Because
know.
I don't mean to break the law, but I just want to speak up because
I understand.
This doesn't make any sense for me. Nobody teach me, and to ask this cosmetology, I went 1,600 hours, and there's a by choice. I don't wanna get that license because I stuck with Brady, less risk, more money, and less time. I choose that one because I practice in all kind of work.
Well, you can do braiding under your cosmetology license. Are you aware of that?
No,
Do you have a cosmetology license?
Yeah, by choice, of course. Yeah, I complete 1,600 hours.
So you can braid under that. Where do you have it in the state of Nevada?
I don't have it.
Where do you have it at? What state?
I graduated from California.
So get it from Is it still current in
I
California?
already emailed for the transcript.
There you go. You can use your license, have it get reciprocity, correct, Gary?
As long as you're licensed in another state, are you licensed in California in cosmetology?
No, that's what I'm saying. I love to do braiding. I complete 1,600 hours.
I
Even when
understand, but
was-
are you licensed in the state of California right now? That's a yes or no answer.
No.
Okay, thank you.
But I complete 1,600 by choice. I don't want to license. I didn't get license. That's it. I just did one time test. I didn't pass rating. Practically, I passed. Then after that, I just practiced it the whole time, even braiding when I was in school. Because whoever comes, when we went to the floor, whoever comes for braiding, they give to me. This is how I practice it, even when I was in school. Even that time, I didn't communicate really well. Someone taught me, and wasn't enough lesson in our school. They know I'm perfect with braiding. Even they gave to me offer to teach for students when I was in school. I told them I don't have enough to communicate with students. I can't teach students here. I came to learn something I don't know. So braiding I already knew. Whoever comes when I was floor, whoever comes on the school, they gave to me the braiding practice. Even when I was in school, I practiced it with braiding.
Saba, I'm so sorry. I wish we could help you. I wish, but just understand too, if you really want to do something about this, and I feel your passion for it. There's another way to go about it that you have to figure that in, okay? But just know, if you're caught braiding, and you've already been here, if you come back in front of us, and you have been, you're going to have to, there's going to be penalties and a cost for that, so please don't do that. Do it the right way. Be an activist for this if you choose to, for the braiders. Excuse me?
What did I do illegal way?
No, I'm saying, I just hope you don't leave here because you're really sounding, this is a
no, I don't want to do at home. That's why I'm
I
working with taxi
understand,
driving.
but I'm just saying, please keep it that and try to go about what Gary said and we suggested as a board, so you can get where you need to be, so you don't have to drive taxi. You know what I mean?
No, the only I came here, it just doesn't give me a sense for me. Nobody teach you guys ask a test. That's all I try to explain.
I totally.
Thank you for giving to me chance.
Thank you. I wish you all the
That's
best.
Really me. Nobody.
Okay, we'd like to make a motion. Brian? Dismiss?
Do we have a motion to dismiss appeal?
Debbie Ritchie, a motion to dismiss. NRS 644209.
Do we have a second for that motion?
Vicky Negrete, I second that motion.
We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, moving on to agenda item 17. And if I'm correct, 18 and 17 were switched around. So it would be the discussion and possible approval of the fiscal year 2019 budget. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Does the clock really take a short?
All right, we are calling this meeting back to order and continuing on with the agenda item number 18, consideration and possible approval of the mission statement. No? Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped ahead. Agenda item 17, the discussion and possible approval of the fiscal year 2019 budget. Sorry, 18? Oh, I'm sorry, 8.
It's 18 here, it's 17 in the
Oh my gosh, I had 2019 in here. All right.
Yeah, I just wanted to call to the board's attention. We put together the budget for fiscal year 19, and we're here to answer any questions. Andrew's here, you can answer any specifics on what's in the budget. But just know that everything we did was to try and reduce the fees, reduce the cost as much as possible. We did a pretty good job there. And everything from the revenue, the expenses have been reduced. And right now we're sitting with an unrestricted net access for fiscal year 2019 of $166,030, excluding depreciation and bad debt. So if you take out depreciation and bad debt, we're going to be positive $166,000 as we finish this year. So any questions we can answer, any questions you have about the budget, Andrew can give any of the detailed information on that.
Board, do we have any questions regarding the budget? Doesn't look like we do, so do we need a motion, anything? So motion to approve. So do we have a motion to approve the budget?
I'm Vicki McGrady. I motion to approve the budget.
Do we have a second for that motion?
This is Kai Stanton. I second that motion.
We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, moving on to now 18, consideration and possible approval of the mission statement. And so the board will be considering an enhanced mission statement for the Nevada Board of Cosmetology. This mission statement, if approved, will be effective on the upcoming fiscal year 2018-2019. The proposed mission statement, the mission of the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology is to protect the public health, safety, welfare of those that obtain cosmetology-related services through the delivery of quality testing, licensing, inspection, and education services that focus on consumer protection. Do any other board members wish to have a discussion on the proposed new statement?
Debbie Ritchie, I think it would be nice to, it's always great to go forward with the times that are changing and maybe to make something fresh because our board is fresh now and we've got a new location. So it'd be nice to reinstate something of positive, which we already have, but something of maybe we can come up as board members, something that's something that would work better for us in the future when somebody reads our mission statement.
This is Kai Stanton. Adding on towards the end in education services that focus on consumer protection, my question would be, would you like to add positive communication all throughout the community, or what would be an excellent working towards the unity of focus of positive communication and honesty? Having upheld integrity in the workforce environment. Is that what you would like to have?
Debbie Ritchie, I'm going to read the mission statement. It says, and then after I'm done, if anybody can do any sort of a paragraph that we could change or something that could be related to this that we can add. I'm just going to read it. The mission of the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology is to protect the public's health. We all are in concurrence with that. Safety, same thing, and welfare through education, and ensuring only qualified persons are granted licenses to perform cosmetology in the state of Nevada, and that all areas where cosmetology services are provided are kept clean, sanitary, and safe. Now, I like that, but can we as a board come up with something better that's worth a conversation?
Mr. Vice President, the proposed mission statement is designed to reflect the operations of the board and the services that we deliver. We only deliver 4 services: testing, licensing, and inspection. Right now, we only deliver 3 services. We're adding a 4th service through education, and that is how we plan to address consumer protection, which is our task at the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology Board Office. So what we're equipped to do is outlined in our mission statement. Our operations are outlining our services that we deliver to our constituents. We currently offer, like I said, testing. It validates the applicant's knowledge that they can safely perform the services.
Okay.
Licensing is our mark of providing consumers with a level of confidence that these individuals have successfully obtained a state measure that they can perform these services safely and cleanly. And then our inspection services follows up and validates that individuals who have passed our testing services and have received our licensing services are practicing in accordance to NRS and NAC. The education services that we're offering is going to be geared towards helping licensed professionals who have failed to demonstrate safe and cleanly acts while out in the field that our inspection team has identified. The inspection services and the education services will be working with those individuals to rectify their unsanitary behaviors before they would be brought before the board as well. So that's the mission statement along with the operations. So mission statements, operations are very closely aligned because the objectives need to be met.
So your proposed mission statement outlined here, the mission of State Board of Cosmetology is to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of those that have obtained cosmetology-related services through the delivery of quality testing, licensing, inspection, and education services to focus on the consumer protection. This is perfect. I did not read this, so I apologize. This is pretty great. So I'd like to make a motion to uphold the new proposed mission statement.
Taylor McCormick.
So we have a second.
McCormick, I second that motion.
We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. We have a new statement. Or will have a new statement. All right. Moving on to... Actually, I was hoping to come with the possible discussion of the board or input. I'd actually like to table 19 and 20 until our president is actually back to be part of this conversation as it pertains to Gary, and I believe Gwen and Gary work pretty closely together, much more than myself, honestly. So I'd like for her to be present and would like to table this for a future meeting. Does anyone have any thoughts on this?
I would like to make a motion as the same on NRS 241033.
Taylor McCormick, I second that.
Okay, so we have a motion then. I guess all those in
Should I
favor?
clarify? I second the motion to table this discussion until our next board meeting. And that's it.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now, is it absolutely necessary to leave it until the next meeting, or can we hold a special meeting if necessary for this? I mean, I obviously don't want to withhold your review either for months.
It wouldn't matter. It can wait until that time frame because the pay raise that would go into effect if I did get a pay raise would be July. So your meeting's in July. My pay, if you approve the pay raise or approve a pay raise, then it would go into effect the first 2 weeks of July, which would be
prorated.
Yeah.
It'd be retroactive? Okay. All right. So I guess moving on to agenda item 21, comments by board members. Just to make sure it's orderly, if we can move from our left all the way down to the right. So, would you like to start? Any comments by our board members if you'd like to start? No? Board member Chilatro? Yourself?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
We were just moving down the line. We
Excuse
were
me?
just moving down the line for comments by the board members, and you're the last one. No? Okay, well, I do want to make a comment. I would like for us to...
Item 20?
21. Oh, no,
We tabled it
we
with
tabled
no-
right there. Yeah. I'd like... I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I know in the previous law subcommittee meeting, we had discussed the possibility of moving forward with potentially incorporating the Barbers Board. I'm seeing a reaction. I have spoken to some legislators that would potentially help us because this would require a legislative fix in order to absorb any board. And so it sounds like we might have an in-way. We have support with some legislators. It just is, I guess, a matter of working on this now because we were told, or I was told, that we will experience opposition, not only from the public, but also our legislator that is advocating on our behalf. So perhaps we should discuss this further in tomorrow's meeting then?
Excellent. I won't be here tomorrow. I'm the one who's really trying to push this train. I don't want to be affiliated with the Wild West anymore. So I really would like to be here for that, Brian. If we can push that until our next agenda, I'd like to make a motion to jump on that.
You don't require a motion for any of these. These are just
Right,
discussions.
these are also discussions.
Okay,
Yeah.
so discussion, if we can hold it the next, because I won't be here tomorrow in Hawaii.
Okay. The only thing I would say is when we do a discussion of the Barbers Board, there will be opposition from the Barbers Board, I can guarantee you. And what we may want to do is have it as two different laws. One, the laws are going to affect the law book as we're reviewing hours and for different curriculums and all, have all those go in as one bill, and have another bill that would be pushing forward with the Barbers Board, because I'm sure it's legislators that we're not working with on the same group. It would be different. So I don't mind doing two of them. That would be great, and it doesn't kill one to have something that might have some opposition from the Barbers Board.
Right. Correct, but if we lobby for this, because my take as a city is we're all taxpayers, and I'm all about saving money, and when you have to look to the future and you have to start eliminating, you say what is important, what is right, and what board do we have to maintain what we have moving forward, and what can we eliminate. Very simple.
Well, I guess there are no further comments. So do we have agenda item number 22? Do we have any comments from the general public?
Of course we do.
Down yourself first.
Good afternoon. John Davis. I will tell you that Ms. Gwen and myself, we attended the Barber Board meeting yesterday. And I will let you know that they have gone in and started cleaning up a lot of the different things that the legislators have been asking them. I don't know whether or not it was pressured. However, I am letting you know that they are trying to clean up a lot of their little language and different things that are coming forward towards the barber board.
That sounds wonderful, but at the end of the day, we need to do what's best for our city.
Yes, we would like to do what's best for our state, yes.
Our state. I'm tired.
And I'm back.
Do we have any comments in Northern Nevada? No? All right.
Holding down the fort. Don't all rush to the mic.
All right, so
I just want to state something. Brian, you've done a wonderful job today. I appreciate you being here while Gwen is not here, and I really appreciate you.
Great job.
And thank you, Gary, for doing such a wonderful job, and everybody on the staff.
Thank you, and I appreciate our board members. I think that we are communicating excellently, and I think that sometimes it's great to agree to disagree and still have that wonderful professionalism there, and I'm really excited about the ongoing future team that we have.
Yes.
All right.
I guess we can, oh, okay, never mind, I was just getting excited on my own. Do we have a motion to adjourn our meeting today? Do we have a second? Second for the motion? Thank you. We have a motion on the floor to adjourn today's meeting. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, nay. We are adjourned.